versus sisters. Me versus my wife. We need 10 brothers and 10 sisters from each city. Each person will aim to raise £5,000. You can never dream too big. Help us hit that 1 million for Syria this Ramadan. If you haven't already signed up, click the link below. Assalamu alaikum guys. What is the 1 million challenge? This Ramadan, city versus city, brothers versus sisters. Me versus my wife. We need 10 brothers and 10 sisters from each city. Each person will aim to raise £5,000. You can never dream too big. Help us hit that 1 million for Syria this Ramadan. If you haven't already signed up, click the link below. Assalamu alaikum guys.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are coming to you live again from Syria, from the Live Updates TV, and I'm Sister Masiha, and with me today is my co-host, Sister Zainab.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's topic, inshallah, is importance of a woman's role in Syria and in the Ummah also, inshallah. So we'll speak to you in regards to our roles here, the work that we do here in Syria, and also just generally as a mother, as a wife, most importantly as a servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
One of the ayat of the Quran that Allah mentions when He discusses a woman is that Allah says, خَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا. Allah created from the man the woman, and Allah mentions one of the purposes is لِيَسْكُنَ إِلَيْهَا, so that her husband can find comfort with her. So this is something that is general to all women, not only women in Syria but across the world, from the time of Adam salam until the end of time, that Allah has created a woman so that she can be a means of comfort for her husband. And we find that even like in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the first revelation came, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the cave of Hira, and Jibreel alayhi salam came to him and said, "Iqra," recite. And the fear that enveloped him at the time, he didn't know what this was. It was something new, something unknown, something unimaginable, and he was frightened obviously by it. So he went home, and the first person he went to obviously was his wife, because he sought comfort from her, and he said, "Zammiluni, zammiluni, cover me, cover me." So even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his wives were also there to comfort him in the times of difficulty and distress.
Yes, subhanAllah, if you look back to the life of the Messenger Muhammad, every time he had a major decision to make, he went to one of his wives. Also, after the death of Khadija, he continuously referenced back to Khadija, that she was the one who was always there for him in his time of need, inshallah. So this is something in relation to us here. There's the brothers, they'll go out to the places where the bombs hit, but when they come back after seeing this devastation, they do need to have the comfort of their wife back at home to unwind. And subhanAllah, it's not easy, bringing their children out of rubble, all this kind of stuff. So subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, that's one of the roles that definitely for the sisters who are married, it's a vital role, mashallah, they play.
Yeah, definitely, alhamdulillah. So this is obviously just when we mentioned the wives, this is one of the roles that they play, is to be that means of comfort for their husbands. Especially here with the aid work here, it's very different to something you experience back home. You find yourself faced with situations where you have to see a child dying in front of you, where you have to see someone losing a leg, losing an arm. Yesterday, I think you guys watched the video of a child who is asking that he'd rather be killed. Is it that one?
Yeah,
it was shown yesterday. Yeah, so he couldn't. It's things that you don't face in the normal situation if you're not in a war-torn country. So imagine how much that weighs on your mind. So if you can go home and at least have that little bit of comfort, then definitely, alhamdulillah, it's a blessing to be a woman granting that comfort to your husband here.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Also, just for the sisters obviously who aren't married, the mothers here, and just as generally the single sisters here, I found one of the roles that's vital here is to speak to the sisters that are left behind. If you look in most war-torn countries, and if we go to refugee camps, predominantly it's women and children. And subhanAllah, this is one of the roles that, again, naturally it comes to women. So what I found is when I've come to Syria, the main people that I focused was the widows. As the situation of a single parent, initially we had other sisters going in, we had brothers going in, which is, to be honest, it's quite insensitive and quite inappropriate. So I came in to speak to the single sisters because I could relate to them, how to, alhamdulillah, make them less dependent and make them independent. So we came and we started to give them literacy lessons. I had some of the sisters saying, but I'm so old, I've never known how to read and write. So especially in, for example, Project Hope Camp, there's one sister that comes straight to mind. Her name is Zakia, she's Anas, subhanAllah, she's around in her late 30s, and she said, but I've never known how to read and write. Now subhanAllah, she's one of the ones who's excelling in the basic learners class, but subhanAllah, initially she had no motivation for it. But as her children are getting older, and this is what I try to explain to them, is when Anas and she has a little boy called Hussein as well, as they get a bit older, you've got to help them with their homework. There's nobody else to help them. And right now you might not want to be the breadwinner, but a time will come when you'll need them to be the ones who are breadwinners, rather than them being out there picking up the rubbish. SubhanAllah, a lot of the children here, that's what they do. Inshallah, Anas and Hussein will be able to do something for their mom, inshallah.
You really don't have to be a psychologist to be able to offer some emotional support to someone here, and some of these women really don't want to be faced with a situation where they have to go to a man and speak to a man. So alhamdulillah, if you can assist them in some way, then as a woman, just to be there emotionally for them. Okay.
Inshallah, if there's any questions or anything that you have any questions in regards to our roles here, in regards to our roles back at home, Allah Alim, or if you have any comments, inshallah, please do message. Hopefully my sound is, my voice is a bit louder than the other day, inshallah.
We'll also
have a small break, inshallah.
It was through we were guided
قصف البراوي
to the
وتفشل الله
You united us. May Allah bestow His mercy upon you. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina
كيف الشامسة
قدرني ما بدي أعيش، قدر موتني ما بدي أعيش.
الله أكبر نسوان عربي نسوان
the path that is
موتني ببوس ايديك.
The women's projects, we have, alhamdulillah, a few projects. Sorry, please forgive me today, but inshallah, we have the Project Hope Widows Camp that we've been around for the last 2.5 years, roughly. We also have another widows project, which currently has about 80 widows in this, the Widows Camp. So apart from that, we have a lot of the education projects that we deal with the women and children. There's the link is up at Save Our Syria, inshallah. So please, if you would like the money to go specifically to one of the sisters projects, please do just put a little comment in, inshallah.
And of course, we will have other projects as well going. So if you want to donate any fund in Syria, or you want to help for the Hafiz in Syria project, all those are continuing as well. You're welcome to do any of them. We're focusing obviously now on a woman's role in Syria, so we'd really like to assist that in whichever way we can. We mentioned emotional support for the women here. As a woman, how much you can help that. And also, of course, with regards to professionals, things like being a doctor, women's doctors are so much needed here. For me, for example, I don't want to go to a man if I have an illness or if I have, for example, if I have to have an operation or anything like that. So alhamdulillah, having women's doctors is a great help. Having midwives, things like that, it's really a great help here in Syria.
In regards to obviously some of the aid that we have sent in, one thing that in the last few years, because we've had sisters on the ground here, we can actually speak to the sisters and ask them what they want. And this is one thing that, alhamdulillah, as soon as they see a Muslim sister, they're like, oh subhanAllah, you're Muslim, and then after that it's kind of like, and you're helping us and you've left everything behind, and subhanAllah, they really appreciate it. And then when you ask them what do you need, they open up, they tell you, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. So this is not something that ordinary before. I remember going through the aid stuff where it was back at home and then over here as well. There's things that is, subhanAllah, we don't really need, and then other things, alhamdulillah, it's now been replaced by things that are a lot more vital. So inshallah, alhamdulillah, it does definitely help with the sisters being able to go through the warehouse and check what is needed and what's not needed as well. So
yeah, alhamdulillah. And we have, of course, the women's bags, which also have been coming from the aid convoys that are coming through the containers, etc. So those things also, we get info from the women that this is what they really need, and we try to get those particular items to them. And this is the kind of thing that you can't mention to a man, because the women feel uncomfortable doing so. So alhamdulillah, if a woman is there to help them, it really gets the message across easier.
No, definitely, alhamdulillah, when we started to give out the hygiene packs and that, and the young girls, alhamdulillah, they find us approachable, so alhamdulillah, they can come to us, they would request what they want. But not only that, they actually open up. I find that with the younger girls, they'll speak to us. They don't want to worry their moms. They don't want to worry, their older siblings and that. So alhamdulillah, you've got to remember, some of these girls, they don't have their mothers and fathers around, or they have maybe their mothers around, but their father's, he's been locked up for a long time. The mother's carrying out the role of the father, so they don't want to worry their mother with these kind of things, which may seem trivial, but they're not. Alhamdulillah, these young girls do need to be able to speak to someone. So alhamdulillah, when Hassan and myself we were in the school, girls would come and speak to us about certain personal situations, and alhamdulillah, we've got to meet the mothers, and we've got to, alhamdulillah, we're not just working on the women now, it's the younger girls and even the younger boys as well, who, under 10 years old, the boys, they really need the support of their mothers. So alhamdulillah, jazakallah for everyone who helps with these things, because everything that you do back at home, it makes our work a lot easier over here. Jazakallah.
Yeah, definitely, alhamdulillah. We're going to have a look at the screen, inshallah, and see if there's anything, that people have sent, any questions that people have sent through. Is there anything yet? No? Nothing yet?
I can't actually get this working.
Okay, alright. Here we go for a quick break then, and then inshallah, when we come back, we'll have a look if there's any more messages.
Alhamdulillah, we've been doing a lot of projects here, schools, relief work, so on and so forth, but we want to make this really interactive. We want you guys to get involved.
Two is fundraising. We need anybody with fundraising skills that can organise events. Ramadan is coming up. Anyone that can organise iftars for us, even a bakery competition, then please contact us.
Live updates from Syria. Look what this dog Bashar is doing. Wallahi, where are you when your ummah is being destroyed? More children. Are these people terrorists? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Barrel is low in the center of Darfur, it's a civilian area. Look at this is a child. Pieces. What would you say when you ask them, Yawm al-Qiyamah, what's he done? More children. What will we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah? Look at all these dead people, akhi. Innocent civilians. Where are you when your ummah needs you? Wallahi, on Yawm al-Qiyamah we will pay the price, not these people. These people are people of Jannah. Look at his shahada. Look at the small shahada, he has a shahada finger on Allah.
When the missile hit, one of the brothers did turn around and say, can you drive? They needed someone to drive, get the women out of there.
No.
So alhamdulillah, it really does help to have the sisters there, because we could take away the children. And obviously where it did hit was women and children. We saw women coming out with obviously their abayas being blown off, their hair all out, and subhanAllah, we were able to take them undercover. There was a block of flats where we went underneath the stairs. So alhamdulillah, and I remember like one of the aunties there, who she was just saying, she'd lost 3 of her sons there, but all the time she was, subhanAllah, she was making dua, she was reciting. And it took, one person just to remind everybody, and everybody started to do azkar, and pray underneath those stairs. But it was all women and children, so alhamdulillah, definitely. And then we could arrange the cars to take the women to the other areas. And it was an injured little girl who then we ended up taking back to Bab al-Hawa for the hospital. So
so there you have it again, how much a woman can help the situation here. We have a question that came through from someone called June Santos, and this person asks, do we find that many women are educated here?
It varies, to be honest. In terms of education, you have the city folk who have left and are now living in the villages. They were actually quite highly educated. Other than that, you have the villagers, and you have a lot of the people in the refugee camps. Unfortunately, it's not just the women who aren't educated. It's also this whole generation. The last 5 years there's been no education, because to begin with, the schools were bombed. So you've got around a child, if he stayed up to 5 years old, now he's now 11 years old, he's had no education for that period of time. In terms of the women though, like there was no resources, no help for them, and it's only now, even with the books that come in English, alhamdulillah, they like to utilize this kind of thing, because that the want for study is there. That'd be, I'd say, more so with the people that are from the cities and towns. And then the villagers, this is something new for them, but they're finding themselves away from their normal day-to-day life, which was obviously in the crops, and the life that they had there was completely different to now living in the refugee camps, having to fend for themselves. So they weren't so educated, but alhamdulillah, now they're being given that opportunity.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yes, because obviously we're having people coming from different areas, so you're finding the level of education amongst the women very, very different. And it's something, alhamdulillah, like the sister mentioned earlier on, we have that temporary uneducated to make that difference for them. So having educational women here from the West, from other countries, to assist these women in changing their lives, alhamdulillah, that's a great help.
But saying that, in terms of the educated sisters, what I do find sad is, we've got sisters that are having to travel to area, like for example, the local midwife. She'll work in 3-4 different areas because she's the only one that can actually do this. So imagine her workload. She's going from she'll work 2 days in one area, 3 days in another area, 4 days in another area. So what is something is definitely needed is to train up the women in to be able to fulfill these roles, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Any other questions? No other comments?
Okay, please keep the questions and comments coming in, and inshallah we'll try to answer as much as we can. We will also have a guest later on in the show for you. Little girls will speak about their experience in Syria, and obviously these girls are going to grow up to become women here in Syria, so we can have a look at what their expectations are, what they think their life will be like, what they want to grow up to become, how they want to, what their hopes and dreams are, inshallah.
To you, I've been where you are right now, feeling so lost and lonely. Worries, troubles cloud your mind. I know. See my heart felt that. If we don't fight for the children, then who do we fight for? They are the future. When you was born, I called the adhan in your ears. I've seen you smile, I've heard tears. First day of school, I was scared. First ride a bike, I was there. Young boy, young girl, I see you the same way I see my own. In the summertime, I like to go to the park with my daughter, we laugh. I watch her whiz around on a scooter fast. Go home and watch Topsy and Tim, or Charlie and Lola, like everything's okay. But what about that little girl who can't play? She never gets her ice cream on a hot day. Or the young boy that's out there in the cold. Even in Palestine it snows. If we don't fight for the children, then who do we fight for? They are the...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. We now have two guests with us, inshallah. We have Sarah, who is 8 years old and she's in year 3. And we have Imani, who is 11 years old and she's in year 5. And they go to one of the schools that we've been supporting for the last few years.
Studying, and they mentioned Quran and other subjects, other Islamic subjects. وأي الفن أفضل عندكم؟ أماني أي الفن أفضل؟ تحب القرآن؟ أفضل يعني من غيره. Amani says she loves Quran, the subject Quran more than any other subject. وأنت سارة؟
English.
She loves English. Okay, ما شاء الله.
أنت تفهم؟ هل وقت هي تفهم في الإنجليزي أنت تفهم؟
She understands a little bit English. She's busy learning, inshallah. Maybe next time she comes on, maybe she'll be able to speak to us in English. سارة إن شاء الله في وقت ثاني إذا تأتي إلينا تتكلم في إنجليزي؟ إن شاء الله. وأماني ماذا تريدين أن تكوني إذا تكبري؟ معلمة ما شاء الله. Amani is saying she wants to become a teacher, a lady teacher, inshallah. When she speaks, she wants to become a teacher. وسارة أنت؟
معلمة القرآن.
She wants to become a teacher of Quran, inshallah. And these are two very, very important things. You know, a teacher of any subject, and in particular Quran, because here in Syria we have, really a lack of education, as we've mentioned before. So if these two girls, inshallah, can grow up and be teachers here, educators here, they can really make a difference to the next generation, inshallah.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments they want to make? And also just about the school, it's currently being sponsored by One Ummah. We've had the school for the last 2.5 years. It started as a summer school. Supported by Masoom Charity, and then from then One Nation sponsored it and Aid Convent provided the resources, and this year it's currently being supported by One Ummah. So alhamdulillah, the school really has progressed. It's gone from about 50 students to over 200 from years 1 to this year. After September inshallah it'll probably go up to year 8 inshallah if other rules.
inshallah. أماني ماذا تحبون أن تفعل في وقت الفراغ؟
أحفظ القرآن.
نعم. وغيرها؟
أتعلم يعني بعض.
ما شاء الله. And to study anything.
حلب وبعدين أنت جاءت من حلب إلى هناك ماذا أنت؟
في مدرسة أخوات الشام.
نعم.
والثالث في تركيا. الأول والثاني في المدرسة الريفية في أطلع.
So she said that they were studying in Halab. They're from Halab, and then they came over to Turkey. From Turkey, they came back to the village that we're currently in, to Atma, and they've been at the school from the start when it was called Akhwat al-Sham, and then followed on onto Abna al-Sham. هم أسأل هل رمضان هو صعب هناك؟ كيف رمضان؟
إن شاء الله سهل.
She said inshallah it'll be easy. وأنت صائمة؟ نعم؟ كيف كنت صوم اليوم؟ Alhamdulillah. Sarah says Alhamdulillah as well.
You know, Sarah is 8 years old, and mashallah, I believe last year she only missed 2 fasts due to being ill. So inshallah, and Sarah inshallah هذه السنة تكمل الصيام كله inshallah. Inshallah, this year she wants to fast all of them inshallah. وماذا ستفعلون في العيد؟ نعم.
Actually, first let them get past Ramadan. Ramadan just started. نعم. أنت اليوم طبخت مع أمك؟ ماذا طبخت؟ قليل ماذا طبخت؟ شيشبر. وأنت سارة؟ أنت نمت بعد المدرسة؟ لا أكيد؟ قليل. She had a small nap after school today. Alhamdulillah, because at the moment they'll be having their exams in the next couple of weeks, and then they'll have a break for the rest of Ramadan, inshallah. So, does anybody have any questions or comments for the girls?
هل إنكم أصدقاء؟
نعم.
Okay, they have friends يعني كثير أصدقاء؟ في الصف.
Just a reminder to everybody, inshallah, if you can donate towards the children's projects, inshallah, we have a few schools. The school that we're talking about is with One Ummah. Also, we have One Nation supporting the schools. We have the Hafiz and Syria projects. Also, a lot of the work that we're currently doing is education of women and children, inshallah, to empower the women, give them the independence, inshallah, to be able to rebuild the society. Because, subhanAllah, unfortunately, there's not very many men left. So, alhamdulillah, inshallah, please support these projects, inshallah, for the future of Syria.
أماني أنت قلتي أنك تحبين أن تتعلمي القرآن في وقت الفراغ. كم حفظت من القرآن؟
من 4 أجزاء.
ما شاء الله. The girl is 11 years old and she's memorized 4.5 juz. ما شاء الله. So yeah, and Masara أنت? And she's only 8, but mashallah she's memorized 1.5 juz. جزء عامة ونصف من جزء تبارك.
Syria needs so much more. You've got children that haven't been in school for years. I used to see so many of these children and they're walking around on the streets, and I used to always say to Raquel, when we were that age, we were in school, we were enjoying our lives. That was like one of the best times of our life. Being raised up in the West, we got to have an amazing education. So that was one of the key ideas, one of the reasons why we wanted to build this school, and we wanted to make it a free school so that a lot of people, a lot of these underprivileged children could have access to a great education. Alhamdulillah, our school is a complete Islamic school. So we teach maths, science, and all of your normal day-to-day subjects that are so vital for someone to excel in life. But we also give the children a strong Islamic upbringing and tarbiyah. And this is so important. We have salah inside the school. Quran is a major focal point of our school. The children hear the adhan. This is subhanAllah, this is revolutionary. They've been used to hearing the anthem of the
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
MashaAllah, that was really excellent recitation from Sarah. Her tajweed is really, really good, MashaAllah. Have we any new questions?
Okay, we have a couple of questions, inshallah. One of the questions, again, is from John Santos, and he's asking, is it difficult to be foreigners here?
It is quite difficult sometimes because obviously the language barrier can become a problem. Even if you know Arabic, the Arabic here is spoken very differently to the Arabic you're either used to if you're from another country or that you've learned. If you learn Fusha, you learn the proper Arabic language, then it's very different here. So sometimes it's difficult for people to understand you when you speak. Sometimes it's most of the time difficult to understand people. But alhamdulillah, a lot of people do understand that as well. So you try and communicate. And even if you can't speak Arabic, when you initially come in, you try and use hand signals to get across what you want. And eventually, alhamdulillah, the fact that you start picking up. That's one of the main things. Any other things you can think of?
A lot of the times I get asked if I can teach them English. It's the other way around. I'd rather know the Arabic. But yeah, alhamdulillah, I did initially start with teaching some orphan girls English, but then decided, to be honest, it's more beneficial that we give them the opportunity to be able to be fluent in their own mother tongue, inshallah.
And also, I think another thing that can be difficult is, the society obviously is different to what we used to at home. So sometimes something may be normal at home, like a signal or gesture may be normal in your home country, and you come here and using it is considered, how we say, عيبة. تتعلمون منهم شيء أو لا يعني هكذا.
نعم.
تحبونهم؟
نعم.
She said she loves foreigners, she loves مهاجرون. وماذا تعلمت منهم؟ هل تعلمت شيء تتذكر فيه الآن؟ They said, okay, she can't remember anything at the moment, but she says she's learned some from them.
Just a reminder again, inshallah, if you would like to donate to the school or any other of the children's education centres, please do look at the links, inshallah. Go to the Facebook page, and inshallah it'll tell you what projects are there, inshallah.
Inshallah. Do you have any other questions for them?
Sarah, أنت في نشاط؟ نعم. أنت في الصف الثالث، معلمة لمياء أو مين؟
معلمة
لمياء.
والمعلم
نعم. أنت فاعل شيء في نشاط؟
نعم.
نعم. ماذا تفعل؟
رسوم.
رسوم.
مسجد الأقصى.
مسجد الأقصى واقع هذا؟
Then I found out, brother, everything's gonna be alright. Put your faith in your Lord now. He's the one who can help out. I promise, wallahi, everything's gonna be alright. This is for everybody. If you feel down and lonely, put your faith in your Lord. Remember our Lord is merciful. He's always there for us.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, we're just having some technical glitches here, so we're going to call it a day. But before that, there's something we'd like to mention to you with regards to the school they're attending. You know what makes it good is the chances that they are offered there, as in opposed to what they were offered before. Because the schools that were running here before, most of them did not have that, link between Islamic studies and secular studies, first of all, and obviously the syllabus as well was not what they're getting now. You know a bit more, sorry about.
Yeah, I think to be honest, one of the questions that we've been given just now is, do the girls generally wear hijab by their own choice, and do they like to wear it? As cultural, they would wear it, but now, inshallah, what we're doing now is as young as Sarah, they do wear it, but we're giving them now the understanding behind why they should wear it if they want to wear it. And again, with the abaya, nothing is enforced upon the children, but alhamdulillah, seeing the teachers around them, other students who want to wear it, it encourages them. موجود سؤال من البريطانيا هنا، أقول هل أنتم أحب يلبس حجاب؟
نعم.
وأنت سارة؟ No. So you could see Imani, alhamdulillah, who's 11 years old, she gave a very direct and quick response, which yes, she loves to wear it. So inshallah, like Masiha just said, we're gonna call it a day today, inshallah. It's been a long day for Sarah and Imani as well. It's the first fast today, so inshallah we'll let them go home, and inshallah the next program will be a bit more
hopefully
run smoother. جزاك الله خير.
جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
What is the 1 million challenge? This Ramadan, city versus city, brothers versus sisters, me versus my wife. We need 10 brothers and 10 sisters from each city. Each person will aim to raise £5,000. You can never dream too big. Help us hit that 1 million for Syria this Ramadan. If you haven't already signed up, click the link below.